Tallulah, the Tooth Fairy CEO. Written by Dr. Tamara Pizzoli. Illustrated by Federico Fabiani. Tallulah the Tooth Fairy had been in the tooth business for as long as she or anyone she knew could remember. The thing is, people have always liked to romanticize the idea of what Tallulah's job actually is and what she actually does. But make no mistake, Pearly Whites was more than just Tallulah's business. It was her career, and she took dentition seriously. What began as just a genuine curiosity for all things dental had grown and evolved into a full-blown, thriving corporation, founded, run, and managed by Tallulah, Teeth Titans Incorporated. So serious was Tallulah about her commitment to ivories that she also founded the National Association for the Appreciation and Care of Primary Teeth, or the NAACP-T. Like any notable mogul, Tallulah found she was most productive when she struck a healthy balance between her passion, purpose, and what pays. Thus, she adhered to a strict schedule that kept her both busy and fulfilled. On Monday and Wednesday mornings, it was coffee or tea with no sugar. It'll rot your teeth. A quick workout session, and a chat with her therapist. So, when did the obsession with teeth begin? I like to think of it as more of a calling. Tuesday and Thursday mornings were dedicated to yoga, Pilates, and running errands. Friday AM was reserved for visiting museums. She found exhibitions on teeth to be particularly fascinating. Each afternoon, Tallulah dedicated to training other up-and-coming tooth fairies. What? You're not surprised, are you? Well, of course there's more than one tooth fairy. There are way too many lost teeth in the world to attend to for one person to manage. Tallulah was the tooth fairy, not Santa Claus, though she had lunched with Santa's lovely wife Charlene once. Excuse me, Sam, could I have another Irish coffee, please? The road to being a mogul hadn't been easy, Tallulah liked to say, but it had been worth it. I just became swamped with all the work, so I had to hire additional help. Well, sure, I'm in it for the teeth. I'd be lying if I said I wasn't. But the greatest satisfaction is knowing that I'm providing a fantastic service to children around the world. Each and every fairy is trained by me. Yes, I oversee all the hiring. The term fairy is just my clever marketing ploy to soften and make palpable what we really are. An unstoppable team of strategized earners at the top of our game and armed to the teeth with teeth. Each tooth fairy learns everything they need to know in my 3-week training session. Enrollment is available for qualified candidates at the low price of $795. The potential tooth fairies signed up in droves. Questions you may get but are not obligated to answer. How does the tooth fairy get in the house? What do we do with the teeth? How are we notified when a tooth is lost? The answer to these questions and more are in the top secret Teeth Titans Incorporated employee manual. Each evening after an early dinner and a bit of relaxing, Tallulah began her rounds as head tooth fairy. Sure, she could afford to be a lazy lieabout, but nothing gave Tallulah quite the same thrill as sliding a shiny tooth out from under a child's pillow and inserting something gleaming and jingly or crisp and easily folded in exchange. Until one evening when something unusual occurred. Tallulah had gone about her routine as usual and was prepared to make her last stop at a 6-year-old's home by the name of Ballard Burchell. As she snuck her hand underneath the boy's pillow, her brow furrowed and a perplexed look overcame her face. What she pulled out was not at all a treasure of a tooth, but a handwritten note by the boy himself.
Dear Tooth Fairy, I had a tooth, but I lost it. I hope you understand. Sincerely, Ballard.
Tallulah the Tooth Fairy studied the note for a moment. Well, first of all, this looks nothing like me, she began. Why do they always make me so tiny? She continued. And what am I supposed to do with this? Tallulah wondered aloud. She pulled out a copy of her employee manual for a quick reference, but nothing was written of any use on the subject. In all of her years as Chief Tooth Fairy, Tallulah had never encountered such a dilemma. She had a decision to make, and quick. Tallulah called an emergency meeting with her board of directors. These 8 individuals were the best of the best in her company. She could rely on them for sound advice and direction on how to address the situation and move forward. Tallulah began the meeting by stating, "In all of my decades as a professional tooth fairy, I have never had this occur. I'm truly stumped and would like your thoughts on how I can best handle this." A lengthy discussion ensued. "Leave a note that says, 'Sorry, kid. The proof's in the tooth.'"
He has to learn responsibility.
"Well, no tooth is better than a rotten tooth. I think we should remit partial payments for rotten teeth, or no payment at all."
It was thoughtful for him to leave a note.
Oh, raise your hand if you've never lost something.
While we're on the subject of unusual circumstances, should we be giving extra for gold teeth?
Tallulah, I'd like to discuss the lack of diversity on this board.
"Maybe next week, Tom." And later that night, once Tallulah had listened to all opinions given and had reached a decision of her own, she returned to Ballard's bedside. The next morning, young Ballard Burchell woke up with a start and immediately shoved his hand under the place where his head rested only moments before. His heart sank when he found only a paper, but quickly soared once he realized the sheet wasn't the same as the one he'd placed there. "Dear Ballard, sometimes things get misplaced. Here's hoping you find your tooth. Next time, use this patented Teeth Titans Incorporated tooth compartment lanyard. It retails for $9.95 and is available on my website, but this one is on the house. See you soon, the Tooth Fairy. P.S. Now you know why I wear the teeth I collect. They're easier to keep up with that way." Ballard hopped out of bed and ran to his mom to show her both the letter and the photo from the Tooth Fairy. But by the time he reached her, only the letter and the lanyard remained. And inside the Teeth Titan's tooth compartment lanyard was the shiniest gold and silver coin you ever did see. Copyright 2016 by Dr. Tamara Pizzoli.